What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So last week we talked about some funny and ironic facts that occur in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and today we're going to be talking about something similar, that is, Easter eggs and references. Even though these games are pretty similar to Sun and Moon, they do still have some very interesting Easter eggs and references that are unique to them, and today I'm going to be telling you guys about a whopping 30 of them. Now, I did my best to filter out all the ones that also appeared in Sun and Moon, but there could possibly be one or two that slipped through the cracks, just FYI. Oh, and of course, here is the obligatory spoiler warning since the games are fairly new, but with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. One of the first differences you'll notice in Ultra Sun and Moon is the big Poliwhirl rug in the male player's bedroom. If you pay close enough attention, you'll actually notice that there are a lot of Poliwhirls in the overworld of the game, and this could possibly be a reference to Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon, and the fact that Poliwag is his favorite Pokemon. Once you go down to the main floor of your house, if you take a look around, you'll find the aptly named Whelmerpale, calling back to the Gen 3 games and their remakes where it was introduced. Right after you visit the trainer school for the first time, you'll run into Hala trying to track down a Tauros. While talking to him, he'll use the phrase, "Oh, the places you'll go," referencing the title of the famous Dr. Seuss book. Once you make your way to Verdant Cavern for Illima's trial, you'll run into some Team Skull grunts, one of which uses the phrase, back again. Given Team Skull's hip-hop inspirations, this could be a reference to one of rapper Eminem's most famous songs, Without Me, where he says, "Guess who's back again." In the Howley shopping mall, there's a sightseer who's checking out some posters on the wall. If you talk to her, she'll say, "Hey, under this poster, there's nothing. Of course there's no switch, silly." Obviously referencing Team Rocket and how they tend to hide secret switches behind posters. Once you get to Akala Island, if you go to the Heihei City Marina, you will find an older man talking with a younger boy. If you talk to him, he will make a reference to Kurt of the Johto region and will even mention the legendary GS ball that was popular in the anime, stating that it's one of the greatest Pokeballs ever made. If you make your way to the Tidesong Hotel, you can talk to one of the bellhops who will say that you can fit absolutely anything inside of a trainer's bag, referencing the popular question by fans of how exactly so many different things could fit in your bag during the game. Also in the Tidesong Hotel, if you go to the far right of the building, you'll find a sign that contains the waiting list for tables at the hotel's restaurant, and says that most of the guests have been waiting for a table for up to 10 years. This could possibly be a reference to Pokemon Red and Blue or the series as a whole, since the amount of time that takes place between the events of Red and Blue and Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon is 10 years. If you swim around Hano Beach and talk to the various beachgoers, there will be a swimmer who says, "A place to put away Pokeballs? That's the mystery of swimmers, isn't it?" Which could be referencing the infamous line of a similar nature that appeared in Black and White. Here's a couple pretty obvious ones, followed by a pretty cool one you might not have noticed. In Mali City, there is a Cantonian-style gym that is a huge reference to the Vermilion Gym from Kanto, and once you beat the leader of this gym, you'll get a novelty gym badge known as the Surge Badge, referencing Lieutenant Surge. The one you might not have noticed is that this gym could also be a reference to the Fighting Dojo from Kanto. Like the Fighting Dojo, the Cantonian Gym is an unofficial gym, and it also is led by a black belt just like the Fighting Dojo. If you take a break and decide to read some books from the Mali City Library, you'll find one that tells you that the Z in Z move is actually short for Zenith. There is a golfer that you can battle on the downward trail of Mount Hokulani who challenges you from across a small canyon. Upon beating him, he will award you 1,800 Pokédollars in prize money, which coincides with the 18 holes that golfers play on a golf course. Moving on from Mali City, if you do some extensive exploring on Route 16, you'll find a preschooler behind one of the mobile ether houses that talks about wanting to build a secret base, referencing the secret bases you build in the Generation 3 games and their remakes. Also on Ula'ula Island, if you go to the Lake of the Moon or Sun right outside Ula'ula Meadow, depending on which version of the game you have, you'll find an old man standing right outside the ruins, who, if you talk to him, will say, "Oh, you're that trainer who always is popping into the Pokemon Center, aren't you?" Revealing that this guy is the guy who actually runs the cafes in the Pokemon Centers. Once you get to Po-Town and head into the Shady House, you'll find a room that has a couple Wii U's set up. Now in Sun and Moon, these were here as well, but the key difference here is that in Ultra Sun and Moon, some of the Wii U's were actually changed to Switches, such as the one that's in the player character's room. So why were these ones left unchanged? Well, one possibility is that this is a somber reference to the Wii U's unfortunate end. The presence of these Wii U's in the abandoned Shady House could be a reference that the Wii U itself was abandoned in favor of the Switch. Once you get to Vast Pony Canyon, you'll encounter a backpacker named Purdy. After you defeat her, she says something very interesting. She talks about how there are so many undiscovered Pokemon in the world, and that when you are done with the island challenge, you should travel the world, possibly hinting at a future generation of Pokemon games. I actually made an entire theory on this possible hint, which you can check out by clicking the iCard at the top of the screen. Once you finally make your way to the Pokemon League, you'll run into Kukui one more time, who will give you a short speech about him battling the gym leaders in Elite Four in Kanto, and will mention a dragon user in a cape. This, obviously, is a reference to the Dragon-type master of Kanto and Johto, Lance. When you're battling Hau for the title of Pokemon League champion, one of the Pokemon he uses is a Crabominable, which is likely a reference to his grandfather Hala, who also has a Crabominable on his team. One of the cool new things we get to see in Ultra Sun and Moon is Lily actually taking part in a Pokemon battle. She attempts to help you battle Team Rainbow Rocket, and while she isn't very good at battling, she has a Clefairy, which is a reference to her mother Lusamine, who uses a Clefable. During the post-game, the Team Rainbow Rocket episode actually begins in the Festival Plaza, with Rainbow Rocket hacking their way into the Festival Plaza network. This is most likely a reference to the fact that during an interview, it was stated by Kazumasa Iwao of Game Freak that originally the bosses of the different evil teams were originally going to be featured in the Battle Agency before the Rainbow Rocket story was created, alluding to their original origin in the games. One small yet interesting detail of the Rainbow Rocket episode is that all of the evil team leaders keep their Pokemon in Master Balls. This is likely a reference to the fact that since Giovanni comes from a world where he succeeded, he would have successfully taken over Silphco, and in so doing, used their technology to make more Master Balls in order to catch all the Pokemon they wanted without resistance. Once you defeat Archie and Maxie, you'll hit some switches behind some paintings in each of their rooms in order to get further into the castle, continuing Team Rocket's classic trend of hiding secret switches behind pictures and posters. Inside the depths of the Rainbow Rocket castle, you'll run into a grunt who, before battling you, will say, "Red, blue, yellow, we'll show you our rainbow strength," clearly referencing the Generation 1 Pokemon games. One kind of random but still interesting fact is that the move Seismic Toss has a very similar animation to what we see in the anime, where a Pokemon is lifted up into space and circles around the globe before being dropped back down on Earth. Another classic reference to Team Rocket occurs again within the castle, with at least one of the items that you can find there actually being an Electrode in disguise, which is a callback to their days of using Electrode during Generation 2. Towards the end of the Rainbow Rocket episode, Getsus will appear and talk about his own secret plans for the organization. He talks about wanting to use Giovanni and set him up as a king in order to accomplish his own selfish goals, which is a clear reference to what he did to N during Generation 5. Once you finally get the chance to challenge Giovanni, he will say that having a kid confront him makes him feel nostalgic, referencing the other games where he was the main antagonist. And finally, one of the more well-known Easter eggs in Ultra Sun and Moon comes after you become champion. If you go back home and talk to your mom's Meowth, it will trigger a cutscene where a woman and her Alolan Meowth burst into the home in order to see the Cantonian Meowth with her own eyes. Well, this ultimately triggers a battle between the two Meowths that uses the classic battle interface from the original Pokemon games: Pokemon, Bag, Fight, and Run. And there you have it, guys. Those were all the Easter eggs and references that I could personally find in Ultra Sun and Moon. Now, you may have heard some of these before, but you may have just learned something as well. So be sure to let me know what you thought of all these in the comments below, and if you know of any other Easter eggs or references that I didn't mention, definitely let me know about them with a comment. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon content every week, and with all that being said, I'll be back with another video soon, so until then, as always, I will smell you guys later.